Yes, yes. Welcome to the ancient world of tabletop games. I am Agamemnon from the historical documentary Time Bandits. This is a report from a fugitive. If you are new to board games, meaning you have discovered a world beyond Ludo, Monopoly, and the game of life, what should you look for in a board game review? Searchable, findable, buyable, playable content. I check the Dice Tower videos on YouTube to see stuff that's new or coming soon. On this side of the Atlantic, most of the daily review videos go out around 6 at night. If you run a board game channel yourself or you want to start one up, you'll need to do regular research, and I use the Dice Tower to inform my own purchasing decisions. The organisation is run by Tom Vassell. With no expeditions in the offing, I don't rely on him for my hat purchasing choices. For older games that I hear about through arcane sources, I turn to the BGG, run by volcano-based Bond villain Scott Alden. Here he is, pictured inset before the facial reconstruction surgery forced upon him when a volatile game of Catan exploded close to his head as he bent down to retrieve a fallen game component. Earlier versions of Catan were plagued by a chemical similarity to dynamite, and that is a board gaming fact. The BGG database holds information on tens of games you might want to play, and thousands of games that you'll never see in your lifetime. You are after searchable, findable, buyable, playable content. What do you search for? Type the Dice Tower YouTube into your search engine and head to their video content. You'll face a daily barrage of game review videos. That's the searchable stuff. Mostly it's the new stuff. For findable material out of the deep past, type BGG and head to the board game database. There you'll find a game by name, category, through publisher, creator, shoe size, and so on. And you should find videos too. There are reasons for a lack of video. I've covered those reasons before, but I'll recap for you. Just look at the game's year of release. If it's the year you are searching in, that game might be so fresh it isn't even to market yet. Videos will percolate through the system. But if a game has no video 5 years after release, who's playing the game? Wargamers, if it's a military game you're staring at, and videos by wargamers are nowhere near as frequent as are those by the mainstream board gaming crowd. Searchable is one thing. Findable is another. Buyable is the important factor. If a board game video is described as a preview and not a review, then it's almost certainly for a Kickstarter game. And when that preview video is farm fresh, you can be sure that the game in question is 6 months to a year from seeing the light of day, and even then, a retail version isn't guaranteed. Once you discover board games, you'll go in search of board game sites looking for reviews. Pause the review you found and go shopping. If you can't find the game for sale, let it go. Return to it after a good while and see if it's finally available. I've lost track of the video reviews I ditched when I saw the game just wasn't out there, not even remotely. I leave the shopping search open and go back when the moon is blue to check whether or not the cupboard is still bare. Board game database entries are for eternity. Actual board games, though, won't last as long. If they go out of print and stay out of print, well, find something else to perk your interest in pushing playing pieces around a board. When it comes to purchases, I use board game prices and a few other locations to check availability and price range. Looking at the many board game prices tabs lying open, I see 17 games right this minute. Of those entries, 5 tabs list products available for pre-order only. I don't generally pre-order. Another 5 tabs list no copies available at all. Those games are in limbo, awaiting publication. The publishers advised retailers of the expected price and size of the games, and retailers enthusiastically listed postage for the games that will roll around the corner any second. 3 tabs cover foreign suppliers with inflated postage costs that won't apply once I can buy those games locally. It's purely a question of distribution. I'll check back in another blue moon and save half the cost of a game in stamps. 2 tabs are for games that are expensive right now, but from research I know they are about to go into new editions and the prices will fall from insane levels with a ready supply. That leaves 2 games available. I'm not sure about those as I need to see more video reviews for them. Those will arrive in time. If the games were all readily available at reasonable prices and I thought they were playable after doing my research, I'd likely buy them in at the rate of 1 game a fortnight, unless one seller gave me a deal on a bunch of games. Then I'd group purchases to save on postage. I have a channel to run after all. And this is not a review channel, so I play the waiting game. There's no relentless drive to talk about a game the second it's available, rushing a review into existence to cater to the instant gratification of others. Pace the purchase of your games. It's certainly easier to absorb new games, arrange additional storage for components, and organise space on the shelves if I purchase sparingly, and that's all after I've considered the budget, of course. Boardgame Prices is a handy site, but hitting shopping in the search engine and going after the game's title will provide a more rounded view of prices out there. Often that's rounded heavily up, but business is business. Newcomers and veterans alike, do your research. Find out what sort of games you prefer based on reviews rather than previews. What of those reviews? You can go after print-based reviews, but you'll want to see the game in action as part of a review or extended gameplay video. What works for you or even the reviewer may not work for me. Yes, I've abandoned a purchase on seeing a video that showed a game mechanic of no interest to me or to this channel, and this channel is its own creature with its own technical requirements. When I run my own Frankensteinian gameplay videos with a group of test subjects, I mean international contributors, the nature of video production rules certain games right out. It's a small technical hitch, but obviously video delay across oceans over continents disrupts any game that uses an egg timer. Upshot, no real-time games with grains of sand trickling away, certainly not if all players have to turn their own egg timers over. Messy. It's true to say that I've gone ahead and bought a game even if the reviewer doesn't like something in the game that I think is okay, tolerable, and not a game breaker. As long as the game works and holds my interest, it's okay to hear a difference of opinion in the review that still prompts me to purchase the box. What do I look for in a board game review? Show me the game and not just the box it came in. I've shown you game boxes in this video to get that point across. Tell me what the game manufacturer would tell me on the box. List the type of game, number of players, the expected running time, talk about the difficulty, and point out a foul rulebook even if you love the game beyond belief in your review. One game stayed resolutely unpurchased after a slew of reviews, making excuses for a shitty rulebook that you had to navigate around to get to the real gameplay, which was apparently fantastic. The advantage of the BGG site is the video section that brings people in from all across the globe, and you'll find plenty of Dice Tower reviews archived there. If you discover a reviewer whose style you simply cannot abide, then switch to someone else's video review on the BGG. Once upon a twice, I found a reviewer unwatchable, and I found another reviewer unwatchable. When I went looking for a game by title on the BGG database, I discovered these 2 unwatchable reviewers, sadly, lived within spitting distance of each other. They'd joined forces to make review videos 10 times more intolerable. I looked elsewhere for my information. There are enthusiastic reviewers who never seem to have a harsh word to say about any games. We must accept the notion that they only review games they like. And there are grim reviewers who never have a nice word to say about any games, even when they are saying nice things about games. We must accept the notion that the games they play must be more fun to play than to review. You'll find reviewers who guide you through the basic mechanics of a game in a light way, and you won't feel that you've had all your teeth pulled in the same session as having your appendix removed. For some board gamers it's about the number of players, and for others it's the depth of play. There are people who only ever play abstract games, and others who never play them. Does a review video inspire you to try that game, or even that general type of game? Would you buy a game based on a review? Perhaps you'd run screaming from the hobby after watching a brain-dead reviewer drool over musty pieces of cardboard. If you're new to it all and you can't tell a meeple from a steeple, just wade in and watch videos. Once you wend your way into the board game world, you'll learn that Monopoly is not a good game. If you think it is, you'll find your horizon broadened somewhat by a spot of research. You'll soon discover what you like and why, and you'll know which video reviewers provide decent explanations. It is still perfectly okay to think Monopoly is a good game. Just don't expect many people to agree with you from inside the gaming hobby. If you only play Ludo, Monopoly and the Game of Life, you are inside the gaming hobby, just not very far inside it. No one worth your time will turn you away from board games if Monopoly held a monopoly on being your board gaming experience. That game sells and sells and sells. It brought many people into deeper levels of board gaming. We malign it for obvious reasons of dissatisfaction in gameplay. But the hobby requires players at the table, and you don't need a set of gaming credentials to join. You just need to turn up. For international games, you just need a connection to the internet. Please don't turn up in your underwear, on the internet or off. Just as you don't need a set of gaming credentials to join a game, you won't be barred from a game if you carry the albatross of Monopoly around your neck as a badge showing that you like it. Egg timer games won't work on this channel. Feel free to try them at your own low-tech table. Catch a video reviewer free and decide for yourself what will work for you and your fellow players. Do your research. Expect to be enlightened by a board game review, even if the enlightenment you gain is merely the knowledge that you'll never watch a video by that reviewer ever again. You want to catch a video that does the job inside 15 minutes for a long, complicated game and nearer 10 minutes for a shorter, simpler game. Look for type of game, number of players, overall complexity, and ease of learning the game, which isn't the same thing as the complexity of the game. Those are bafflingly different experiences. It's easy enough to learn the basic moves in chess, but quite another matter to put them into effect. There are plenty of games that are easy to play once you decode their shitty rulebooks. Reviews, while sometimes located in a minefield of their own, are meant to help navigate the minefield of choosing new or old games to play. No matter what you expect from a board game review, no matter what you gain from one, at day's end, ask yourself if the game is available at a price that won't cost you at least one of your kidneys. If you buy a game you like playing, just tell yourself you've exchanged goodly coin for victory points measured in satisfaction and fun.